Offer valid on standard browsers, U.S. only.
When I heard about Date My Age, I thought, really? But there I was in my empty, quiet house, my laptop on the kitchen counter, and I typed in my name. Looking for a man between the ages of 40 to 60? Sure, why not?
Date My Age is different. With verified profiles, you can feel safe and secure to explore meaningful connections with interesting and mature singles.
Date My Age made it really easy. I could join and view online profiles for free. All of a sudden, my empty house wasn't so quiet anymore. I got so much attention, it just made me feel seen and alive. Date My Age helped me start a totally new chapter in my life.
Find a friend, a lover, a partner at Date My Age. Get 60% off when you join at datemyage.com today. That's datemyage.com to connect with thousands of singles worldwide. datemyage.com.
You're listening to Missing Persons, brought to you by AbJack Entertainment. Be sure to check out some of the other great true crime podcasts from this network, including The Murder in My Family, DNA ID, Beyond Bizarre True Crime, Zodiac Speaking, Scene of the Crime, 3 Men and a Mystery, and All Things Crime. All of these podcasts are available for you to binge on right now, wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe where you're listening to this podcast so you don't miss an episode.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on this podcast do not necessarily represent those of the podcast, its creators, or sponsors. If you would like to discuss a missing persons case on this podcast, please be sure to visit missingpersonspodcast.net. This episode may contain unsettling or disturbing subject matter. Listener discretion is advised.
Missing Persons Alert, Becky Hostetler-Hendrix. New Orleans police are searching for Becky Hostetler-Hendrix. Becky is a 43-year-old mother of 2 who was last heard from around 4 o'clock p.m. on January 6th of this year. Her blue Toyota Highlander with Texas license plate DJD2581 was captured that morning on a mid-city traffic camera heading west on I-10 near where she was living. Her mother, Karen Hendrix, who is our guest today, was told by police that the camera showed 2 people in the vehicle at that time, although they could not confirm that one was Becky. Since that time, Becky's phone has been turned off, and she has not been in contact with anyone in her family or her friends, which is extremely unusual. Her mom, Karen, reported her missing that evening. Concern about Becky is extremely high. Her family says that it is very unlike her to be out of touch with her 12-year-old daughter or her older son, who is in his 20s. Her daughter lives with Becky's ex-husband, Stephen, in Texas. Becky and Stephen divorced fairly recently after 20 years together. The two remain amicable, and Stephen is assisting in efforts to find Becky. But the divorce, the death of Becky's father and niece, and some personal health struggles have made the past year a difficult time for Becky. A Louisiana native, she moved back to New Orleans after the divorce, but there is some indication that she was surrounding herself with some dangerous people. Becky had recently moved in with a man whom we are not naming but will refer to by his nickname, Tricky Albert. Tricky reportedly works at McCool's Pub in Mid-City and is allegedly an associate of a Benjamin Beal. Beal was arrested on January 11th and charged with murder in connection with the homicide of Julia Dardar. Julia was found dismembered in a freezer in an old bus on Beal's Pauline Street property and had last been known to be in his company. Julia's husband, Micah, who had reported her missing in December and said that she had moved in with Beal, alleges that he has been contacted by detectives looking into Becky's disappearance. It appears that New Orleans detectives are taking Becky's missing persons case seriously and are actively working to find her. But her live-in boyfriend's connection to a murderer who was also found to have drug paraphernalia in his home is very disturbing. Becky Hendrix is 39 years old, white, 5'3" tall, and recently dyed her hair dark brown. Anyone with information about Becky or her vehicle is asked to contact New Orleans Police 1st District Detectives at 504-658-6010. Mike Morford sat down with Karen Hendrix, Becky's mom, to discuss her daughter's case for this special Missing Persons Alert episode.
Hi, Karen, and thank you for coming on Missing Persons to discuss your daughter Becky's case with us.
Thank you so much for taking the time to get this information out. I do appreciate it, Mr. Morford.
No problem, and I know this is a special case here we're doing because it's time is of the essence. Your daughter has been missing less than a month, so I think every day that passes here is an issue. We want to get that answers and get word about her case out there as soon as possible. So we felt we needed to do this coverage in between our regular episodes. So, and I hope we're able to spread the word and get that out there for people. To start off, can you do us a favor and just tell us a little bit about Becky herself?
Becky's 42. She's a mom of 2 children. She has a 12-year-old daughter and a 22-year-old son. Becky would be, if you had to call her anything, she'd be a typical subdivision mom. She's a good and loving mother for her children. She's non-confrontational, and she wanted nothing more than somebody to love and cherish her, by her partner, her boyfriend, her husband. Becky's real sensitive than most people even realized. She wants approval and sees the good in people, maybe a little bit too much. Occasionally she would work. She used to work as a secretary for an attorney's office in over by Dallas. I'm not sure what city, but it's over by Dallas. She's worked for a company in Covington, Louisiana, for U.S. service animals. She's done different types of work, like racetrack. But she's the last 5 years or more, she's been staying at home helping with her daughter because she needed more supervision at home.
Can we start off with, maybe walk us a little bit through some of the details surrounding Becky's disappearance?
Well, Becky has had a rough year. Within this last 10 months, she's had a double mastectomy. She's melanoma on her face has come back. She lost her dad in August, her niece in the last few months, I think November. She has possible uterine cancer. So she's had a rough year, she moved back to Louisiana because she wanted to be near her friends and other family members. She doesn't really like Texas. And she's gone through a bad divorce this last year. She went over there, I reckon, to be near friends and all, so she could find herself maybe and follow up on her cancer because her doctors were over there and she wanted to keep the same doctors. And a relationship with one of her friends didn't work out, and that really hurt her because she cared for him for many years, but that didn't work out. So I think Becky was, I don't know, I talked to her on the day she disappeared, text message. She don't like talking on the phone. She uses text, and I'll talk to her. I sent her $50, and that's the last anyone's heard from her.
Did she have any concerns about having any problems with anyone? Did she express anything she was worried about? Anything unusual leading up to when she went missing?
Well, she was living with this guy in New Orleans, in Mid-City, and she had sent 2 texts to 2 different people that are not even, no communication between the two, that she was afraid for herself, and her friend that she grew up next door to us, told her to follow her gut instinct to get out if she wasn't comfortable there. And then another one she sent to another lady. She told her, without reading it, I can't remember the exact words. I'd have to look it up, but to pray for her, that she's scared and she in a situation she may have no control over. And that was like 5 days before she disappeared.
And was this man she was in a relationship, was his name?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So at some point, it was you that reported her missing. What
Well,
made.
her best friend Melanie did the initial report.
Okay, so her friend reported her missing, and then I guess did you also go to the police and say, "Hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Where's my daughter?"
Yes, I went down 3 or 4 days later on a Sunday. Me and my niece went to the police station to check on what's going on, and I was talking to a detective, and he said, "Wait a minute." He was telling more what was happening and all. I reckon that's when he went and called the sergeant. So he came back. He took us to the back, did a big statement, find out a lot of things, and that's when the investigation really started going.
And how long had Becky been missing by this point?
I think it was the 20th, about 2 weeks. I mean, Becky was wanting some space, and it's not unusual to hear from Becky for 3 or 4 days, but no more than that. And then her best friend Melanie called me, text me, "Have I heard from her?" And I was thinking the same thing. I was going to text her to ask her the same thing, and we realized no one's heard from her since the 6th, and that's what got us going.
Okay, so you knew that past a few days, it was definitely not in her character to disappear like that.
Right, exactly.
So I take it that you or the police or maybe both reached out to. Was he cooperative, and what did he have to say? Did he have any information?
I tried calling him on his cell phone because I was able to get a copy of her call logs for the last 6 days, and his number was on there. And he would never answer the phone. So I kind of set up a fake profile and arranged a date to meet him at where he works. And I didn't go. The police, I did tell the police what I did and why I did it, because he wouldn't answer his phone. I just wanted to ask him, did he, anything. At that point, I wasn't thinking the worst, but he would never answer the phone, so that's why I did it, just so I could go in and talk to him. So I didn't go. The police did talk to him. They say he's being very cooperative, but at this point, there's nothing to say he is involved, at least from the conversation.
Well, there was one disturbing thing that came to light, and that's the possibility that he may have had a connection to a really bad guy named Benjamin Beal, who is accused of...
He does.
Okay, he's accused of dismembering a woman, making all kinds of frightening claims and threats. Right. How is it that he's connected to him, and how did you find out that he had that connection?
How I found out? The police, from the phone logs. His phone and Julia's husband's phone number was in Bill's phone. And the police talked to Mr. Daughter to see if he knew Becky. He said he didn't, but they all hung out together. I mean, not Becky, but him, Julia, and Bill all hang out together. Bill and in a band together or practice band together at this he has like a storage unit where they practice out of, and they have a little studio. So that's how they're connected. They're friends.
Okay. And I mean, what he did is accused to have done, at least at this point, is pretty brutal,
Right.
Killing a woman and slicing her up, dismembering her. When did this happen with Beal in relation to when your daughter went missing?
If I looked at the right thing, Beal was arrested on the 11th. Becky disappeared on the 6th.
That's pretty frightening to have someone like that moving in the circle of your daughter who's gone missing.
And this is totally not Becky. She's not that kind of person, and that's what's scary. I mean, she probably got involved because she may have met him. I don't know how she met him, but it may have been on a dating site. Who knows? I mean, that's the only way I could think of. And Becky was just wanting somebody to care for her, and she might have got bought in and then got in the too much, found out too much or whatever. I don't know.
And it makes it seem like your mind can run in 1,000 different directions at once about what connection there might be and what may have happened. Now, have the police talked to Beal about your daughter, do you know? And has he said anything about her?
I don't know if he has or not. I want to say I'd sent him, the sergeant, a message that, about the dates like I just mentioned, and could there be a connection, but I haven't heard an answer back from that yet. But no, at this point, they have not told me about it.
Yeah, hopefully if they have, or they're going to pursue that and ask him, did he have anything to do with your daughter going missing, or does he know anything? But anytime you have someone like that that's in a close circle to a missing person, that's not very comforting.
No, it's not. And I'm terrified about what could have happened or is happening. I'm scared to death.
Sure. Now, to this point, have there been any organized searches or dogs or anything like that to try and find Becky? And if so, what were the results?
I have not been told that there have been any organized searches. Matter of fact, I need to ask them that. And I don't know about cadaver dogs. It's just I'm not being told a lot. And I can understand why they can't tell me a lot, but the only thing they've really told me is that on that they tried to ping her phone, but it was turned off or dead, which it does go straight to voicemail, and that voicemail is full now. And her car was picked up going I-10 west towards Mid-City at 8 o'clock on the morning of the 6th. And then I found out day before yesterday at night that they got another police camera, picked up her car, and she was not alone. But I don't know what time that was. Okay,
and just to clarify that, the images they picked up of her car, did they verify that it was definitely her in the car, or could it have been two other people?
Well, they said they couldn't make out who was the passenger side. That is more like a silhouette because the car was moving. But I would think the high-tech cameras, they should see more.
Now, was her car originally missing, or has the car been found?
Her car's missing too.
Okay, so the car is an important piece of the puzzle because that may have some clues. Have there been any reported sightings of Becky or her car that you know of since she went missing?
No one that's called me or text me. We've got pages put out, going to different areas in that community to try and get something, but so far there's no sightings that I'm aware of.
So we talked a little bit about the car missing. Obviously, if that can be found, that's important because there may be evidence in there, clues, what have you. Right. Maybe fingerprints, and hopefully police do find that and they're able to track that down and do what they've got to do to process that. Just to switch gears a little bit, obviously there's, a scary guy that's accused of some heinous crimes here that's in, the general vicinity of Becky, which you mentioned you're very frightened of what may have happened to her. But just to go in a different direction, if for some reason, is it possible that maybe, you mentioned she had a really horrific year, is there any possibility that Becky was distraught or depressed and may have harmed herself?
Depressed, yeah. She's had a big loss this year, but hurt herself, no, I don't think she would do that, because she wouldn't do that to her daughter and her son. She would never do that, and she would never have gone this long without talking to at least her daughter, because she knows she needs her. But no, I don't think she would hurt herself. I really don't.
And you mentioned earlier you tracked down some of Becky's phone records. Have police tried to track the phone itself to try and figure out what towers the phone may have pinged off of, that kind of stuff?
They're waiting on they had to get warrants for everything, and they're waiting for them to get them from the phone company.
And that may reveal some more clues, and that's the only...
I'm hoping.
It's a waiting game, unfortunately, and we're up against the clock here because, again, it's coming up on a month here.
Right.
So hopefully that's something they can get done, and it might give them a new direction to go in. It sounds like at this point that you're desperate to find some answers. Hopefully we can help spread the word and let people know, especially in that area, who can maybe share it on social media that your daughter's missing and to keep an eye out for her. Are there any websites or social media pages set up for Becky's case?
We have Find Missing Person Becky Hendrix.
Okay, we'll be sure to...
And that's with Facebook.
Okay, and we'll be sure to put a link to that Facebook page in the show notes so that people can just click right on it in the notes. And
they can even send me a message through Messenger if they want.
Okay. We can definitely put your name in there too, and then they can reach out to you. And maybe at this point, if anyone has seen anything or heard anything, or maybe they think they've seen Becky, just come forward with whatever information you have would probably be the best advice.
Right.
And what number, is there a hotline number people should call, or any kind of tip line?
New Orleans Police Department, 1st District, 504-658-6010.
Okay. And we'll definitely put that number in the notes as well so people can reach out and call if they have information.
You had asked me about Becky committing suicide. When Julia's daughter was murdered, the man, Bill, said that she may have committed suicide. Well, told the detectives the same thing about Becky, so they're using the same MO.
Yeah, that's frightening.
Yeah.
Two people that know each other and have this connection, sort of using a similar story.
Right.
Yeah, well, hopefully, again, it's a month that's probably seemed like an eternity to you not knowing where your daughter is. But hopefully the answers that you need are coming, whatever evidence is out there can be found, and you'll find your daughter, and hopefully she's safe, and you can find out where the truth is.
Someone knows something. She wasn't alone that last day, so someone out there knows something.
Absolutely, and come forward even if you want to stay anonymous, if you can help. Just phone in something and don't give your name, and give the police something to go on so you can find your daughter.
Please do, and I'm trying to get a reward together, and whatever I get will go to that.
Again, Karen, I wish you luck. I hope that you find some answers very quickly here and that your daughter's found.
Well, thank you so much. You're the first one that's reached out other than the one reporter in New Orleans, and God bless your heart for this.
Missing Persons is produced under the name AbJack Entertainment by Mike Morford and Jessica Betancourt. It's hosted by Mike Morford and Jessica Betancourt, with writing and research by Jessica Betancourt and editing by Mike Morford. Be sure to listen every other Saturday for an all-new episode of Missing Persons.